How's everyone doing? Good, good. I was a little worried about the rain. I'm like, oh, it's gonna rain, no one's gonna show up, like what's gonna happen? But amazing to see this great turnout. So yes, I'm Carolina, and today is day 4 for me here in London. I'm coming from San Francisco. I'm originally from Colombia, so if you hear the accent, that's where it's from. And so I'm still a little jet lagged, I have to admit, but really thrilled to be here. And yes, as Stefano was saying, we're going to talk about audience insights today. And this is real important to me. If I can find my clicker, here it is. Because at Google, especially in marketing, this is how we think about how we operate in the marketing organization. Know the user, meaning your audience, your customers, your users, the people you're trying to solve the need for. Know the magic, that's your product, your technology, your business, your restaurant, your baby, right? The project you're working on. And then we connect the two, right? And I think based on all the experience I've had with startups, we tend to know our magic really well, right? We know our tech really well, we know our product. But once in a while, we may forget to check in on our audience and what's happening with them, and what are some of the changes in consumer behavior, and what's happening behind that keyboard, what's happening in the head of that human, in the heart of that human. How is that being reflected in their choices, in their behaviors? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to focus on that part and ignore a little bit the rest. But before we start, I want to share a video with you on the evolution of Google.
When we were trying to name Google, we actually went through thousands of names.
The name of the company has now become its own verb in the dictionary.
Let's Google it.
You can Google it.
I Google practically everything.
6 simple letters on a plain white page.
Being able to do searches in any language about any country.
As you're typing, Google finishes your questions for you.
At Google, we have been working on organizing the world's information.
Our goal is to digitize all the books.
Today, Google announced Gmail. Email for everyone for free.
Google is mapping the entire world to make it more accessible to people everywhere.
Google is jumping into the mobile market.
Android was built as an open platform for everyone to use and build on.
This is Chrome. It's a faster, safer browser for the open web.
Google is unveiling what they call the knowledge graph.
We needed to understand the world the way you and I do, as objects and relationships between objects.
Today, Google got another useful feature with Google Now.
We are providing you with answers before you've even asked for
them.
One
of my favorite cards is the one that shows traffic data for your commute to and from work.
Think about how far Google has evolved from the 10 blue links.
We asked ourselves, how can we assist you right when you need it?
Okay, Google, call the Walker Art Center.
It's not just desktops, phones, and laptops anymore.
Okay, Google. 유진이한테 5분 늦는다고 문자 보내줘.
It's watches with displays, car consoles with displays.
Okay, Google, let's go to the aquarium.
How can we help you get things done in as few steps as possible?
Okay, Google.
Okay, Google.
Okay, Google, show me my photos of Lucas with the pumpkin.
But we have to remember, we have a long way to go.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
That is just the tip of the iceberg. Can you imagine? And no matter what comes next, this is not going to change. This is our mission at Google, is to organize the world's information and to make it universally accessible. And no matter where we go, who knows what's going to happen in 10 or 20 years, that is going to stay. And that's what we do. And let's think about for a second about what it means to say the world's information. That's a ton of data. So let's put it in context. Who can tell me here what happened 1 billion hours ago? Just throw it. There's no right answer. Well, maybe there is. But you can try it out. Big Bang, maybe, yes. Other takers? Maybe. Actually, what we have here is, modern Homo sapiens emerged 1 billion hours ago. All right, interesting. How about a billion minutes ago? Let's think about that. Hard, right? Christianity emerged. Let's go faster. A billion seconds ago.
Google came into existence.
Whoa, close. Actually, I want to feature a non-Google product here. The first IBM computer. You're getting close. How about 1 billion searches ago? When did that happen? Yeah, this morning. 1 billion searches ago. And if you think about other properties that we have, like YouTube, we actually, at the beginning of this year, revealed that people are now watching 1 billion hours of YouTube per day. What? So much content, right? And we're all contributing to that. So imagine what we can do with all of that information. And especially as we start thinking about intent, consumer intent, and anything that's really happening in your life. I don't know. If you saw what I search on Google, you'll probably understand a lot about my life. So for example, I'm a little sick now, so I was looking for pharmacies here in London. I was looking for like how to not lose my voice for tonight. Then, like I'm making plans for December, I'm going to New Zealand. Like my entire life is there. It's so interesting. And while we never reveal individual information, on aggregate, that's a ton of information on consumer behavior and consumer intent. So today, I want to share with you 5 tools that use all of this information, and they're publicly available and they're free. So someone in the back was telling me, well, maybe this Google person is going to sell us stuff. I won't. This is just for just to let you know this is available for you at your fingertips. There's just one that's paid, so we'll get into that. But before we start, I would love to understand what's kind of going on with each one of you and what motivated you to come here. I don't think we'll have the time to do that. So we're going to do one thing. I'm going to ask one of you to share with me your name, what do you do for work, or if you're not working, what's your passion, and what motivated you to come here tonight. And the way we're going to do it is, I have secretly placed a little something from San Francisco under your chair. So whoever can find it will share this info. So let's see. Are you looking well? I know where it is. Yay, you found it. You found it, okay. I'm like, there's very strong tape. All right. Sorry, we had to super tape it. Would you mind standing up and share? I think we need a mic over here, please.
My name's Steve.
Would you mind standing up? Just so everybody sees you. Okay, wonderful. So he got a notebook from Google.
Hi, I'm Steve. I work in marketing.
Oh, Mike is
Thanks. My name's Steve. I work in marketing, head of marketing for an organic beauty company. And the reason I'm kind of here today is to get a bit more deeper understanding on how we could be using the tools to better effect. And really also get a measure on whether we actually understand them as well as we think we do, or maybe not.
Thank you for sharing that.
No worries.
All right. So great, and thank you for being here. So let's get started. Enough. The first tool I'm going to share with you is Google Suggest. And this is simply google.com or google.co.uk, right? So our search engine. And this is when you start typing and you see how Google starts kind of auto-completing your sentence. So we call it Google Suggest. And so this was me kind of trying to find things in London. So you start typing where, London, it populates a ton of different options. What you see here is truly what people are searching for. And so you can start understanding what's top of mind for people in that geography. And in fact, searches for how-to have more than tripled in the past 3 years. So we start with where, then we can say, well, how do I do that? How do I tie a tie? How do I teach my son X, Y, Z? How do I play this game, right? So this was me searching for how can I last week in the US, and two queries that caught my eye were how do I lose weight and how do I make money from home interesting. Those two tend to be at the top of the list all the time. That tells you a lot about what's going on with people, right? Interestingly enough, this week in the UK, similar topics. How do I lose weight? And how do I make money from home? And other ones that are interesting. Hey, Google gives you the answers. You gotta ask, right? And so start with where, which is very generic, then how to, give me information, and then why. Why goes deeper into what's really going on with us, right? Like whenever you ask a question on why, you're really seeking depth. So let me show you. Let's just go for it. And by the way, I'm going to be doing a ton of demos today, so let's just hope that it works. So I go to just Google, and I want to say why. For example, I've been seeing a lot of red puppies that people are wearing, and I don't know why. So why puppies? And then someone over there was explaining the rationale with me earlier today. You can do, why do I? Right? It's deeper. All right, so interesting to see what people are searching for. Why to buy? Why do startups? Ouch, that first one, right? And I want to show you a trick. So you start typing, and then you add an underscore right before the word that you're interested in. And so then it starts showing you the results, even if it's not in that order. So the word startups can go anywhere. So just a little trick that nobody knows. Now you do. So just add the underscore there. So interesting. Lots of interesting queries related to startups. And you can do this anytime, at any moment. Cool. So you can use Google Suggest to play around and to see what's going on for fun, or you can actually use it for your business to understand your category, potential queries. Likely, you won't find information on Suggest about your business, especially if it's a new one, but you can try to find things that are broader, so for the category or for the deeper need of that individual, that person making the purchase. All right, that was number one. Number two, Google Alerts. Anyone has used Google Alerts before? Yeah, oh cool, you should. It's free. So the way it works is you have, just go to google.com/alerts, and then you start typing your name. I would highly recommend doing your name, like to see if there's anything out in the public about you. Cool. Your brand, your category, your competitors, anything like that. So in this case, I am going to add an alert for Cedars. Are they here in the room? Anyone? No? Okay, I was told maybe someone would come. They're a local company, and what you can do is just add the name of the company. And you start immediately seeing some of the public information about that. But you can go into options, and it's super cool because you can set it up to send you emails as frequently as you need to. So let's say, as it happens, only from news, you could say, or from like all sources, in English, in, I don't know, let's say in the United States, and then all the results, for example. You type in your email address, and you immediately create an alert. It's super easy for you to then see what's going on out there, especially as it relates to PR. I personally found, I was launching a product, and I found out that a publication had picked it up through this. That was the only way. It was this small newspaper in New Mexico in the US. Like, I don't read that. So it was through alerts that I found out, and I was like, oh my gosh, celebration, look, we're in the news. It's kind of cool. So highly recommend it. Okay, so that's Google Alerts. And again, it can be customized. It's delivered into your inbox, and it's super easy to use and set up. Set it up once, you're done. Cool. Tool number 3. This is my favorite one. Are you ready? Who's used Trends before? A bunch of you. Okay, Neat. So hopefully this is going to be not just 100% repeating information. You'll find something new. So just go to google.com/alerts, or I found the UK version up there. So we're going to start. We are going to start with this category. So I go to trends, and I'm going to start with tea. I chose that randomly, or maybe because I've been drinking so much tea lately. So I select tea as a beverage, and that's all you do. So Google Trends, on the top bar, you add the category you're looking for, or the brand, the name, whatever it is. And then you see here that for the past 12 months, worldwide, you see what's happening. So you scroll down, and you see where searches are coming from, related topics, related queries, where in the world people are searching for that particular topic. I don't think this is interesting. It's flat, it's going, right? So let's change it to the past 5 years, which you can do that. And we're seeing an upward trend, right? From 5 years ago until now. Still kind of not so interesting, but we know that interest for tea is increasing. Let's see if we do the United Kingdom in this case. So you can customize it by country. So for example, if you're planning to expand into another country, kind of important to check out interest there. Okay, so we see information here. We can now see the different regional interest. Something I love doing is unrelated queries. I go to, instead of top, I go to rising. So that shows you which are the terms that are rapidly growing. So not just total volume, but they're rapidly growing. So booty, I don't know what that would mean, but that's something to explore. It seems like it's growing a lot. Okay, so that's interesting. And that's just tea in the UK. But how about if we were to compare two terms? The tool makes it really easy for you to compare. So as you can see here, I still have tea as my category. And then maybe I can add another similar one, like coffee. And I'm going to ask, who thinks there is higher interest for coffee or for tea in the UK? Who says tea? Okay, only a few. Who says coffee? Majority. Huh, I was not expecting that here. Cool. All right, well, let's see what the tool says. So we do coffee as a drink, and you guys are right. Other than this point right here, in the past 5 years, we've seen that interest. This doesn't mean people are drinking more coffee, right? It just means interest on the term coffee has been higher than the term tea. And you can actually see a comparison. So red is coffee, blue is tea, and so you see kind of what are the terms and geographies. I love doing this with, so I'm South American, I love soccer, with soccer teams, and then people go like, no, mine is higher, and you can actually correlate some of the wins against interest, obviously, or like if there is a particular player who's in the news a lot, you see that increasing. It's kind of cool to play around with it. All right, so here's how to compare two categories in one particular country for the past 5 years. The other interesting one is to compare one term over time. So this one takes a little bit to set up, but I'm going to show you. I'm doing Jose Cuervo. I'm just continuing with beverages. I'm not implying anything here. So I chose Jose Cuervo. Here you can see a little bit. First worldwide for the past 12 months, then worldwide for the past 5 years, and worldwide for the past 90 days. So you can actually see. Oh, sorry, I should have explained. Jose Cuervo is a tequila brand. I should have explained that. Yes. And so it's just a brand.
Colombian brand?
No, it's Mexican. Good question. Thanks for clarifying. So it's just a brand. So you can do whichever, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, right? So just do it for different time periods and actually see, what happened 90 days ago versus 5 years ago, what's happening today, what's different. So it's an interesting one to play around with. The other interesting one is seasonality. This is a fun one as well. I played around with engagement ring, wedding invitation, wedding ring, and you can actually see the seasonality here. So let me see if my pointer is working. Yeah. So first, the blue, that's the engagement ring. So it tends to spike up in this is November through February every year. And then the red one is the wedding invitation. It comes right after, every year, right after the blue. And then the wedding ring comes right after as well. So it's well, it makes sense. It kind of goes in order. I just didn't know everyone did this at the same time, kind of, right? Every year. And I'm going to show you in the demo my favorite one. So this one is, remove. Seems like this mic has a little bit of a feedback. I'm going to remove the terms, super easy to do, and I'm going to add talking about seasonality, right? So New Year's Eve as a search term, and then I'm going to add diet. I love this example. I'm actually going to change it from 2004 to the present moment. Without fail. The dieting starts the day after New Year's. I mean, I know that, I do that. But the fact that we can actually see that represented here year after year around the world, you can play around with it with all English-speaking countries, and it kind of happens the same way. It's pretty powerful. There is something here, right? The data are telling us so much about consumer behavior, and it's right there in front of us. It's super cool. All right, so what? So this is fun to play around with. It's fun to see, interesting maybe, but how do I apply that to my business? Does anyone know this type of hair coloring? What is it called? Ombre. Yeah. Some other people call it balayage. And so we actually partnered with L'Oreal. They were saying that there was an increase in search terms related to this topic, especially how to. Women were interested in understanding how to do that themselves, especially on YouTube. So YouTube videos, how to do that, right? And they're like, business opportunity here. So they created a kit for you to do this at home, and they created YouTube videos explaining how that works. And it was all based in trends, just data, just understanding what's going on in the minds of consumers and capitalizing on that opportunity. Okay, so that's where we are with Google Trends. Use it, play around with it. It's really neat and very, very intuitive, very easy to use. The next tool we're going to talk about is Google Surveys. And this may actually answer your question on being able to break down information by demographic. So Google Surveys is a way to ask questions to the internet. That's the easy way to explain it. So it's a tool we have to get fast, reliable insights from consumers across the internet and on mobile devices. So this allows you to set up a survey the way you would in market research, but in a faster and more cost-effective way. I've used it myself. At Google, we do market research all the time, right? So we hire agencies to do really comprehensive market research projects, and that's really important. But it takes a long time and it's pretty expensive. And so we do that once a year. But then whenever we can, we just use this tool because it's so cheap and it's so fast, it's real time. You can start seeing results immediately within hours, I would say, depending on your question. And it's available. It's available here in the UK, so you can absolutely use it. And the way to do it is you just select the questions you want to ask, you wait for your answers, and it automatically too, produces reports for you to visualize. So I'll show you. But first, let's get started with an example. These are our partners from Nest, if you guys are familiar with Nest. And they're using Google surveys themselves. Let's check it out.
The people that come to work here care about their job quite a bit. It's inspiring to be in that environment, and it's a very high level of talent. My name is Alex Bain. I'm a marketing analytics manager at Nest. At Nest, we're reinventing unloved products in the home. We are really focused on delivering a superior customer experience. We do that by trying to understand how people interact with the products in their home. Google surveys allow us to extend that focus on people. In the absence of data, it's really easy for everyone to draw on their personal experience, and you don't know if that's really representative or not. Whereas if you can ask 2,000 people what their experience is like and aggregate that, you can really understand what is the answer to an important business question. Within marketing, we run surveys to understand what is our brand awareness. If we're designing a product and we want to make sure that it's going to fit in the right place in the home, we can run surveys to ask, how high is your ceiling? We ran a survey, for example, to understand, do couples fight over the temperature in the house? And we wanted to understand, are our products in the middle of those disputes? It turns out that it's not actually that common to fight over the temperature in the house, and so it was helpful for us to know that that's not really a concern. When I tried Google surveys, I realized how simple it was. By checking a few boxes, you can target the survey, you can have pictures, you can ask for ratings. Within a couple days, the responses have all come back to you and they're weighted appropriately to be representative. It couldn't be easier. I went from being sort of intimidated by surveys in general to trying this product and realizing how simple it was, to then running around the company and in any meeting I was in saying, do you guys understand that we could introduce surveys to this debate and it would just resolve the whole thing.
I've seen that happen too. The most powerful person in a meeting room is that person with data. So bring the data and you'll get your way probably. And you can actually use it for a lot of different things. Let's see. For marketing design, brand tracking, for trends, for campaign measurement, customer satisfaction, answers in a timely fashion, or even for product concepting. I've used it. It has a little feature that allows you to upload images. So for example, if you're designing your logo, you can upload the image and let people vote. Do you like this one or this one? And you get real answers from people right away. So easy.
The pricing, you said it's cost 10 cents.
Yeah, and I actually said that happens in the US. I actually don't know the pricing in the UK, but it's about that, 10 cents per response, which is pretty reasonable. And you can always stop it wherever, if you've gotten your answers, you don't want to spend more, you can stop it. Question here.
So how does Google decide who gets these surveys? Because I've never received one, and it would also be helpful to know.
Sure. We can actually go to the property. So this one explains all the details, but the way it works is, I'm sure you've seen some of the gated content in some news properties, for example. So to read this, just answer this quick question. So that's how it works. And we do it with our content partners. So think of like the New York Times and other publishers. And so if they allow for gating, then we just do that. It's a way for the user to pay for the content, but we just do it directly with them. And so it's people around the internet. And you can ask one question, that's it. You can ask multiple ones. You can screen, which is real important, filter. So for example, I am only interested in having women answer this survey. Then you will only be shown to women, that kind of thing. So it's really easy to use. In fact, I'll show you. So we hit Get Started. And it shows you, well, do you want to ask the general population? Let's say yes. Let's say we only want women in this case. I don't know. Let's say we don't want 18 to 24-year-olds for whatever reason related to the product. And we say continue. And then it starts showing you. So this is the example I was telling you. You can have images in the survey and get people to this one, two choices with an image. And so people will tell you, you can have a rating, which is really easy for the user to answer. And then you add your questions, and you wait, and you get your answers. And I'm going to show you right here. This is an example of the dashboard. So once you get your answers, this is what it looks like. So we ran this survey in Canada, and the question was, are you currently thinking about researching or in the process of purchasing a leisure or personal trip? And we've had 770 respondents to date, and this is what the dash looks like. So going back to an earlier question, here's where you can say, for example, I only want to see male responses for, I don't know, 18 to 24, and it shows you all the responses. It graphs it for you. You can also see the breakdown by gender at the top, or breakdown by age. And play around. You can download the information right here. You can share it. It's pretty versatile. Yeah.
Could you survey a design? Could you survey a design?
Tell me more. What do you mean?
A fragrance bottle, let's say.
Hey, what's our?
Fragrance bottle?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. If you have a picture of it, you can say, which bottle do you prefer? This one or this one? Or what's more appealing? Or what looks more luxurious? Or what looks simpler? Or which one would you buy for your husband? I don't know. You can ask any question and get, it's important to think about the question you ask, right? Like it has to be intuitive. It has to avoid biases, right? So just like make sure you ask good questions that are actionable. But yeah, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, hi. I think all the examples you've shown so far of researching consumers or trending with consumers. If you're in the B2B markets, you want to, for example, see people who work in finance, let's say, for example. Do you have that level of granularity in the free versions, or is that a different level?
Great question. I've been doing B2B marketing myself for 12 years, so I hear you. It's like, oh, I wish I could do all of that and get statistically significant results. Sometimes you can't. For example, I target small businesses and still B2B, but it has a broad enough audience. So we've been able to use it with successful results. You would just need to add the filter. For example, we ran one recently and we said, do you own a business? Was the first question. If the answer was yes, we continued. If the answer was no, we stopped it. So you can absolutely do that. That is Google Surveys, and that was number 4. We're getting to number 5 now. Test my site. This one is a little bit playing the role of understanding the magic, so understanding your product, but it's rooted in consumer behavior, so I thought I would share it. So this is what it looks like, and I want to show you now a video, and I want you to do something. So pretend you're loading this video on your mobile phone, just pretend, don't do it. And you're gonna raise your hand the moment you get annoyed and shut it down or leave, okay? All right, we're gonna play. Right? Come on. I'm sure all the technical people right now know exactly what's going behind the scenes, right? Like now it's loading the image, and now it's, oh my gosh, I'm done. Like, get me out. I'm not gonna wait to read what? Something in Hawaii? No. And I don't want to pick on CNN, but seriously, no, not acceptable. Now, I don't know how many of you have tested your own site on mobile devices to see how quickly it loads and what is that user experience. I'm sure you have. But in case you haven't, we have this tool. I'll go here. And it's really easy to use. It's testmysite.withgoogle.com. All you have to do is add your URL. So I'm going to use paceup.com. That's the startup I'm working with right now here. And we start, oh, what is that? All the images with cars. So it kind of needs to know that I am a human. I am a human. Okay, I did it right. Okay. So it starts analyzing the site, and it also checks when you are on 3G, just to make sure. And I have the results here. So Pace is actually doing pretty well. Where's my team over there in the back? Good job. They are loading in about 5 seconds, and that's pretty good. And they are in the good range, and it actually gives customized recommendations on how they could do it better. And so there are a few fixes that could reduce their speed and their load time actually by 3 seconds. You can actually download the report. It's all free and available. You should check out your own site, right? Because, and this is where, when it comes down to like consumer behavior, and as you experienced yourselves with the CNN travel site, people leave sites that take over 3 seconds to load. We just don't have time. Show it to me quickly, right? Hurry, hurry, I'm in need of something. And 29% of smartphone users will immediately switch to another site or app if it's too clumsy or slow. Or if you have me type my email address 4 times when you should know it because I've downloaded the app, or if you have me, populate lots of information and then have me do it again. It's just like the experience, but you all get that. 1 in 5 dissatisfied visitors will never return to our website if the experience was not great. So think about that. So that's 5 tools, but I think we have a little bit more time. So if you can bear with me for a little bit longer, there is more. Like in those infomercials, and there is more. I want to share with you my favorite one. This was actually my baby. I created Think with Google in the US. This was my first project at Google, and then helped to localize it here in the UK, and Australia, Canada, and Latin America. And this is the repository of all our consumer tools and case studies and articles and information. We used to have that in lots of different sites, and now we've worked to consolidate all of that. So this is your place. This is where you can go to find lots and lots of information related to your business, your brand, or just in general about marketing, advertising, and anything related to ad tech. I'll show it. Oh, let's go there. Here it is. So just go to thinkwithgoogle.com. You can see our different versions. I am selecting the one in the UK. So all of this is produced by our team here with local case studies and information. I highly recommend going to all the resources and tools, or if you're interested in one particular advertising channel or insights and trends, kind of what's the latest. You can also search, and it works really well. For example, app installs is one that I've grown very interested in because I'm working with a lot of app developers. So here you see just different case studies and articles, and this one is on UX and how video has evolved to help with app installs, just a lot of different resources here. I also highly recommend going to the tools section. So if we go back to home, that tools section has a lot of different, so go to tools, that has even more tools. So I just shared with you 5. Here's one more with many, many more. For example, Market Finder if anyone is interested in exporting or expanding globally, how cool would it be to understand where to grow? And so, for example, is anyone from Encore here? Encore musicians? Yoo-hoo! All right, so I'm going to select your website. I'm going to select your URL, and I'm going to run it by the tool to see what it tells us. If there's an opportunity for your business, which I understand you pair musicians with opportunities. Okay, so maybe there's an opportunity to expand globally. We'll find out. So you say, I understand, da-da-da. And Market Finder is pulling categories from your website. So weddings, people hire a lot of musicians for weddings, I assume. And so it shows you the US, France, Japan, and you can fine tune it if these are not the right categories for you. But it's an interesting way to really see if there are opportunities globally. So that's one of the tools. There's another one here called Consumer Barometer, and that shows a lot of data points on whether it's digital trends, mobile trends, video trends. You can build graphs. It's very powerful. I won't bore you with it. I'm just showing you what's available. Google Trends, which we talked about. Display, if anyone's advertising on display, understanding benchmarks is a question we always get, so you can play around with that there too. And lots of resources all at your disposal. So these are the 5 and the bonus tools that I shared with you today. Here are the URLs. This is really a good slide to take a picture of if you want to, but I'll get out of your way. And I'll close with this. Data makes your briefcase heavy. It's pretty useless. But insights make you rich. So I hope I can make you richer with this information. And if not, I hope you found it valuable and can use it for your business. Thank you.